All right, guys, now that we have demoed what Mega Research can do, we showed you how it goes out and scrapes everything about your keyword and even brings back the actual images of every print on demand product that is out there successfully selling. So you have an unlimited library of inspirations to use, and they're physical and immediate. You can create products right away, and they'll all be inspired by what is already on the web. So you know what kind of direction you're going in, and you know what is kind of your competitive landscape. So now I want to show you the Muse function and what it can do, because it's somewhat complementary to Mega Research. So the Muse is basically where we attempt to realize a situation where AI can actually reliably create designs for you. So obviously, that is very attractive if we could give it a lane and then go to sleep and wake up and see, most importantly, quality designs. I think that's probably the first thing that pops in everyone's mind. And so that's why I built the Muse. It's easy for me to say, oh, it's been trained in design, it has taste, but it's not just that. It's not a generator with a prompt, it's an art director with a critic. The whole thing is about the product or work that it refuses. So I'm sure you know by now that just about anyone can make an image, but the Muse can tell you which is actually good, and it will kill the rest of them. So it's actually creating examples and then judging them, critiquing them, and filtering them and choosing the best one. And the way it chooses the best one is it doesn't just know design in the abstract, it's basically absorbed the written record of art in the history of man and can name exactly why something works. It's using the same principles taught in art school. It's read all the books, and it's based on a 10 very different axes. So most of these core concepts like composition, color, light, form, structure, and even restraint, these are all things that create a good design. And so it's been shown everything from Da Vinci to Renoir and to Pablo Picasso. It actually has a 10 axes that it judges a final design by. And based on those axes, it scores them. And so the axes are hierarchy, focal point, negative space, legibility at quarter of the size, color harmony, balance, brand mark legibility, subject fidelity, print viability, and thumbnail read. Would someone want it in 2 seconds? So holding it out at looking at your thumb from 2 seconds, would you want it? And so anything that scores below a 4, it kills, and it's going to look to get something with a score of 7 or higher. So that is the magic. That is what makes the Muse valuable, is that it has experience and a criteria. And then once you give it a lane to work on, or once you give it a design concept to work on, then you can actually attach the research dossier created by Mega Research. So that gives it even more foundation and background. Now, in addition, before you ever start, you actually have to have the AI study and generate and build a brand doctrine for your store. So we're here on this page, and I'm going to click the button and activate the AI. I'm going to send it off to study my store and build a brand doctrine for it. So in a minute, we'll look at that, but this is a brand new store and we have never generated a brand doctrine. So we're going to do that now, and it'll take a couple minutes. It's going to scrape our website. And at the moment, there isn't a whole lot of information on it. There aren't a lot of blogs. There are no social media posts. And the other pillar pages are fairly thin. So the brand doctrine is definitely going to be very basic. And that's okay, because we can run this again at any time. We can run it weekly or monthly or quarterly. And once we have John Ops integrated on the site, then it will be creating a huge amount of related content and material for the Muse, to fuel the Muse and to inform the brand doctrine even more and better. So yeah, we're going to start out now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Study Generations and build my doctrine. So you can see it kicked off, and it's going to look, it's harvested my products and my blog posts, and it's going to be deriving a doctrine from the evidence. So this one will be really quick. That's because I have very little data on my site, very little content, and only a few products. So when we return, I will show you the result, and then we'll get into demoing what the Muse can actually do. Okay, guys, so we have run the program to create the brand doctrine for generationx.art, and it is finished now, and you can see the result here. And it has a little bit of everything. It has your reference anchors, the things that you should never do, various rules, the typography, color palette, of course, core pillars, and stuff about your audience. Now, as I mentioned, this is very thin because there's almost nothing on this website. So I'm not going to demo what the Muse can do with this brand doctrine. I would opt to wait for about a month to collect a bunch of social posts, to collect a bunch of new blog articles, and also to create a bunch of new products. And then this brand doctrine will be much more robust. But at least I can mention here that you are able to add whatever you want to the brand doctrine. So that's what this text area is for. So you can edit it, and you can come back and you can restudy it at any time. So you can do this anytime you want as your store grows. You can also save it. And of course, we can approve it here. This is also an additional addendum to image prompts that will be added when the Muse creates images for you. So you can also add your own taste to the actual image prompts that the Muse is using. Now, because Generation X has just started, I'm going to demonstrate all Taiwan themed merch store, and it has quite a developed brand doctrine. You can see that it's much longer than Generation X.art, and that's because this has almost 100 blogs. It has almost 200 products. It's much more developed. So that way it's much more convenient to demonstrate what the Muse can do. So we have the Taiwan merch brand doctrine here. It's all finished. And this is what it will look like when you approve the brand doctrine. So you can start a new drop, which means you can create new merch designs and new artwork. And at the moment, we're just doing the t-shirt, but we can expand to this in the future to any product. So there's two things to remember here. So you can work on a theme. So whatever you want to make new products about. So in Taiwan, it's often I'm often using food, language, culture, places, and also uh, patriotic themes, that kind of thing. So you'll enter your theme here, and the Muse will use your brand doctrine as a foundation for making its artwork. And then over here, you can actually attach all of the results, all of the data, all of the information and images from your research queries in Mega Research. So as you can see here, I have Stinky Tofu. I've done a bunch of different ones. Here's Taiwan Patriot. I've done a lot of testing here, but you can do almost anything. So if we're going to make something, I can say, okay, Taiwan Pride. I could make Taiwan Pride shirt, and then I can come down here and sync the Taiwan Patriot Mega Research dossier. So this way we have three things. The Muse has your brand doctrine as a foundation. It has the Mega Research results from a research run that you did. And then it has its own aesthetic sense and its design taste, what we mentioned previously. It is looking to filter out all of the poor results and choose the best possible result. So let's give it a try. So right here, you can choose up to 12 designs at one time, and you can choose to design for different colored t-shirts. So light t-shirts, dark t-shirts, neutral t-shirts, or just go with your brand default. So here I'm going to just make 5 designs. I'm going to go for Taiwan Pride and patriotism. And then I'm using this Taiwan Patriot Mega Research backdrop to ground Muse. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this drop. And then let's go. So drop queued, Taiwan Pride and patriotism, generating the background. Each design takes 2 to 3 minutes and appears in the gallery below as it finishes. Safe to leave this page as the run keeps going. So in a few minutes, I'll return and we'll refresh this and we'll see the kind of things that it will create for us. So the point here is to have AI create quality designs based on your brand doctrine and backed up by the research that you've done, and with that design taste and that aesthetic sense, and the principle of eliminating the weakest results. So the Muse is going to go and create its own design concepts from scratch based on these topics. And then it's going to create a bunch of images for each one. And then it's going to go through a process of elimination based on the 10 axes that I mentioned just previously. So once it does that, it will select the final one that it thinks is the best. And then in the case of this drop here, I have scheduled 5 designs. So in a minute, I'll be right back and we'll take a look at what it's done. Cheers, guys. Okay, guys, so it's just been around 10, 15 minutes or so, and our 5 designs are done. You can see all of them right here. And I'm going to say that they're pretty clever. You can tell that the system is definitely doing some deep research. We have this, which is really funny, big ball, stable ground. And this is a play on this. The Chinese is all correct here. This is the tuned mass damper, which is a giant ball in the 101 tower that keeps it stable. So this is very accurate and quite nice. It goes well with the theme. You can see at the bottom here, we can immediately approve it, and that will send it right over to Mega to be turned into any kind of product. We can also click save. Basically, this is like potentially or perhaps in the future. And then of course you can say, no, this is garbage, or you can completely delete it. So these will train it over time. So you definitely want to make sure to tap one of these each time you create a new design. And moving on from there, this one struck me. it's very clever. It's like almost a play on Uncle Sam, where, the United States wants you for their military. It's same kind of a national symbol pointing at the viewer. And then here it says Taiwan, go for it. And this is the Bopa Mofa, which is the phonetics for learning Mandarin. So all Taiwanese children learn this phonetic spelling. This is the way that they sound out their characters. And so that's a really fun touch. I think that's something that's definitely a lane that could be really expanded. There's a lot of potential there. So I think that's really great inspiration. So I would use this one for sure. This one is something about Bruce Aylward on the telephone. I looked into it. It has to do with Taiwan, the WHO, and whether or not Taiwan is a country. This kind of thing, you see, it's so obscure that we would regularly never think of anything like this. I do like the design, but I think that I would probably give this one a miss. This one right here is actually really on point. This is a root beer drink that is very popular here, created by a Taiwanese company called Heisong, and everyone knows exactly what it is. Here's an old grandmother putting together some dumplings, and even her vinegar here and her the spicy sauce, the chili sauce here is all authentic. So this is actually quite nice. I'm not sure I would go for this composition, but it's definitely a good idea. And I think the one that kind of is perhaps the best is this one. It says Taiwan on the inside. That's really clever. So our passports here, say the Republic of China, China won't allow us to put the word Taiwan on the front here. It's kind of just clever, a tongue-in-cheek type thing. I would actually use this, but I would probably demand that because the passports are actually green. So yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and approve this one right here, Keeper. And then you see, as soon as you click on Keeper, you put send to Mega. So I'm going to actually deny this one and maybe pass on that one for now. I would actually pass on this one for now, and then we can work on this one. It's pretty cool too, but pass on that one for now. So I'm going to send this one to Mega, and here we go. So I can actually make it right into a t-shirt or right into any product I want immediately. So that's how that works. So I hope that was clear and interesting, and I hope it is useful to you guys. If you are experiencing some kind of block in your imagination, or you need some inspiration, you can use the Muse comboed with your store doctrine and some research that you perform with Mega Research, and it will create t-shirt designs automatically for you. You don't have to worry about it, and they're all quite good. So I hope that will come in handy, and I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.